Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Diametric Convergence. Today, we have Najib Alami, and we will be talking about how mountains can be our medicine. So, I hope you all enjoy, and we'll be talking about hiking and mountains and just getting out in nature. So, please enjoy. Welcome, Najib.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. Welcome.
Good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
absolutely.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. I can't wait to share with you guys, my experiences, whether they were alone or whether they were in groups, good times, bad times. I can't wait to share with you guys my story.
Yeah. I guess we should just get started on who are you and where are you from? What's your background?
Sure. So, my name is Najib Alami, as you guys introduced me, and born and raised in Denver, Colorado. The blood in my veins is Palestinian. My parents are both from the old city, and due to the political, situation over there, they moved to the States, and I have 4 older sisters and a younger brother that were all born here in Denver, Colorado. And man, we grew up here, and the mountains have always been a part of my life, and I don't think I could ever leave. I could leave for vacation, but I don't think I could ever move or leave this place.
Absolutely. I came here about 10 years ago, and I feel the same way. I consider it home now, and I appreciate the people allowing me to call it home.
Yeah, there's something special about it. There's something, it's magical, it's beautiful. Whether it's the clean air that we have, the nice crisp air that we have up there, or whether it's just the people, like you said, the people make a difference on where you live. But I'll tell you, it's a one in a 1,000 places that I would never leave it.
Yeah, there's always a piece of me here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll always come back. Have you ever heard the tale about Boulder Canyon? It's basically like once you go there, you'll always return.
I've heard a few things about Boulder. Like, I know that there was a Native American tribe up there. Mm-hmm. I think the Inuit tribe, I believe. I might be wrong, but I think the Inuit tribe were up there, and then they had a lot of clashes with the Colorado Army, and
okay.
There was like curses and stuff apparently. But,
that was the curse that all the people will return once they come there. So then they'll basically terrorize the land or ruin the land, so the white people or whatever can't.
Yeah, the settlers
take over the land anymore. The settlers.
Yeah. I believe the chief of that tribe, he was killed in the Sand Creek massacre, and then he was basically the one that was like, "Yo, there's never gonna be peace on that land, and there's gonna always be destruction there." Yeah, I've heard of that.
It's very interesting, huh?
Yeah, but you know what? Boulder is one of my favorite places to hike and explore. And they got El Dorado Springs right there, has the freshest spring water in the world. And it's actually really healthy. So, whether the curse is real or not, that place, nevertheless, if you respect it, I think it will respect you back, and it really has this energy and this force field that it's really special. So I don't really look at it as a curse, like as a negative thing. It's really beautiful though.
Yeah. I think I look at it the same way as you. Like, I don't look at it as a bad thing, but it's really interesting because I believe, like, if I ever want my friends to come back here, I just take them through the Boulder Canyon. Mm-hmm. So then it guarantees that they come visit me again.
Yeah. Yeah. And they always come back, and we always go back. Like, I used to work up there. And like, and I always tell my wife, we gotta go, we gotta go.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll
It's
always
really
return.
beautiful too, it's hard to knock
Gorgeous.
them back. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And dangerous too. Some of those
Yeah.
flat irons are really, those are really, rugged and challenging. So,
Yeah. I've also heard some like wild, outlandish Sasquatch alien
mhm.
sightings in that area.
Yeah, up
So,
like near Netherlands, like we
yeah.
went camping. There's also lots of black magic, witchcraft, and stuff like that too.
Oh wow.
Hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
but
Yeah, I've heard a few Sasquatch stories out here, like they knock on trees and things like that.
I have yet to see one. I have yet to see one, but there's places that I've been in the mountains where I'm like, we should probably not go there. You just get this feeling.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just, whether it's aliens or whatever, but like there's a part in Conifer, I won't go there. I won't. There's
Oh,
like this like
really?
wall. Yeah, it's really weird. But like there's like this
Is that
force field. I won't let me go through it.
is that where we went that one time?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know the
It is.
hill? You know the
Yeah.
hill? If
Yeah.
you keep going down towards the river and you go up the bend, you remember that mountain that we used to slide down?
Yeah, and this is
Like,
Conifer, Colorado, correct?
yeah, Conifer, like down on Foxton Road. It's off
Okay.
trail, so like nobody goes there. But if you keep on
Totally.
hiking up that mountain, there's a spot that I won't pass through it. I don't know what it
So
is.
have we hiked it before and you won't go back or
No, I always go back, but I just won't continue. Like I won't. I'll be like, dude, I'm good. I don't want to go
um,
there. I don't know what it is.
so
It's just I got a bad feeling about it.
so you're saying like you get so far in the hike and then you turn back.
No, I'll stop. I'll stop, and then I'll like, enjoy the views. I did a solo hike in that same area. You probably recognize it. But like, if
Mhm. Yeah.
instead of continuing into the mountain, it kind of goes up a little bit
Okay.
more. But I won't go. I won't continue. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Hey, Andrew, uh, have you ever hiked the mountains at all?
Wow, which mountains? I
Any
mean, some
mountains?
mountains.
I don't.
I went in Arizona. I mean, I went up to Sedona quite
Oh,
often.
beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like what's Red Rock State Park up
Oh yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Definitely went in there
Yeah.
multiple times. Different parks around Sedona. So yeah, been. I mean, I'm not like a seasoned expert in hiking, but I've been to a couple of places, and
And
we went in Payson, I think, wasn't it?
yeah.
Whenever we went fishing,
Yeah, that
obviously
was
we're up right on the rim.
so Andrew, that's similar to hiking here.
Mhm.
Basically some pines, thick pines, and then it's just like basically barely touched and you get to go
Yeah.
in the nature and love what's there.
It's
Right.
it's
Yeah.
interesting because there's like two types of hiking in Colorado. There's the trail hike, it's made for families and friends, and like I got kids, so like I'm not gonna take them backcountry, you know.
Yeah.
And then you have
Yeah.
backcountry, which is like, dude, if you fall, that's it. Like that's it, dude. Like it's gonna hurt. And like the trails they're made, I feel like in a sense the trails are made to be like, catered to groups of people, and it's like, you can't get lost. It's hard to. And
Yeah.
but if I'm gonna take my family, whatever the age is, I'm hitting the trails. But if I'm gonna take my friends, I'm hitting the backcountry.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's
Yeah.
great advice. I think I've only been backcountry with you, man, and we've
Yeah,
had some
that's it.
crazy times.
Dude, we've had some amazing, they were awesome, dude. Like,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and that's what's the nice thing about doing backcountry. It's like, yes, there is a risk. And I mean, I guess you have the same level of risk on a trail. Like things can go wrong no matter what. But I mean, we like the discovery that you make, the adventure that you have, the experience that you make. I mean, from backcountry and like discovering the wilderness, like I mean, those underground waterfalls and caves, Brandon.
Oh gosh.
Like, dude.
Speaking of that, I want to bring up today. It's not in my notes or anything, but I just saw that there was a news story about Forrest Fenn's treasure being found.
Yes, I've heard of that.
And it was just recent, like Saturday night or so.
Did they really?
Yeah.
That's
and
like
Forrest
millions
Fenn,
of dollars in gold and diamonds, isn't it?
Yeah. And Forrest Fenn came out with his own
Yes.
statement.
I
And
remember
actually,
that.
I'll read it to you right now if you want.
Yeah.
He basically says the treasure has been found. It was under a canopy of stars in the lush forested vegetation of the Rocky Mountains and
Wow.
had not been moved from the spot where I hid it more than 10 years ago. I do not know the person who found it, but the poem in my book led him to the precise spot. I congratulate the thousands of people who participated in the search and hope they will continue drawn by the promise of other discoveries.
Wow.
So the search is over. And then
Wow.
he says Forrest. So that's incredible. I think more people need to make these searches. So maybe we need to make like a GoFundMe to get a treasure fund so then we can go hide it.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. You know, I remember he didn't give an exact location. I even have some friends and family members who went all the way up to frickin' Yellowstone to look for his treasure.
Whoa. Well,
Yeah.
I was convinced that it was in that waterfall that you just mentioned because it was so beautiful there.
I'm
And he
wondering.
said that the treasure was still wet, or it
Oh,
will be
wow.
wet when you find it. And that would be a perfect spot.
Can you imagine if we walked right past it or over it?
Right. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the truth is and a little more information on the solve. There has been a lot of false stories, so you never know until the truth is out. But I'm excited to keep an eye on that and watch it.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I got the page to finally load here.
Oh, you did?
That you sent, the link that you sent me.
Yeah, it took a while to load. I think everybody's trying to figure this out. But
I kind of just didn't sit. But what's like? So where? I mean, it says in the Rocky Mountains.
yeah, he doesn't say specifically.
Yeah, exactly. And the Rocky Mountains go from frickin' I met a hiker from England, and the dude was frickin' dude. He was crazy. He hiked. Apparently, that's what he said. But he was hiking the Rocky Mountains all the way like down from the south, like from basically Mexico, and he wanted to hike all the Rocky Mountain, the Continental Divide, basically, all the way up
Right.
to Canada.
Yeah, I believe it goes from Santa Fe to Canada or
Yeah,
New
yep.
Mexico to Canada.
Yep, something like that. Yeah, and so the Rocky Mountains, it's huge, man. It's a huge
Yeah,
range.
I know, and I always thought it was right here. They had a few leads on it, like the elevation was 10,200 feet, and a lot of people thought it was Leadville.
Really?
So they haven't released where it's at yet. But what was supposedly in the box, because first of all, it was like a bronze treasure box that he sought out for this specific reason. And what they said was in it was gold nuggets, rare coins, jewelry, gemstones, a bio of him, and this bracelet that he supposedly won in a bet, and he was asking for that back. So we'll see if the person that found it will give it back to him.
Wow. Can you imagine like walking like being like the Goonies?
I know.
Just going on this crazy adventure. Seeing skeletons and pirates and probably not in Colorado, but like Oregon. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we talked about this on episode 3 of our podcast. Having a purpose means a lot. So if you're going out just hiking, we always, talked about having a purpose when we go out hiking, whether it be pick up trash, clean up graffiti, whatever it may be, look for gold or whatever it is. But that treasure was one extra purpose to get out there and kind of seek areas that no one's ever been to.
Absolutely.
Safely.
Our purpose was to discover places that probably have never even been stepped foot on. whether it was 1,000 years, 10,000 years, or ever. And it was like just discovering new places, or like to us was new. It was just like, I mean, every place in Colorado that we hit was different,
Yeah.
whether it was the terrain or whether it had like certain features of the land, like caves, tunnels, high peaks. Some climbs were hard, some climbs were easy, but like just discovering, that was our purpose was, and what I mean by ours, whoever accompanied, me, um,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like discovering and finding new things was really inspirational and enjoyable, and it still is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. And
When
pretty much.
to Iceland actually a couple of years ago, and I'm just thinking about it. We did. I mean, that's kind of all we did really was hike. There's just everywhere we went. That's kind of what we did because so much to do around there. One of the cooler things that we got to do was go hiking, kind of, I guess, like basically on a glacier.
Wow.
And that was a lot of fun. Just being in Iceland, like the scenery there and the just the nature. Because we went on the what's it called? The whatever the tech the like the split between the two plates between like the Atlantic and the European like
Oh wow.
plates. We got to, like, we went and to all these different places. We had to walk pretty much everywhere, so it was a lot of hiking. That was really just a lot of fun because it was in the summer too, so it never ever got dark, which is really fun. If you like that kind of stuff, that was kind of interesting. But and one of the things that we did, it was kind of cool since it's during the summer. It was a lot of rain, so it wasn't really snowing, but still we took a bus up to a higher elevation when it just was covered in snow. We we tried to walk around in the snow. It was really messy though. Like it was a lot of mud, and it was kind of melting, but still kind of there.
It's
So that was
it's great.
really a good experience.
It's great to experience those kind of things. Have you guys ever heard of the beginner's mind?
I have not.
A beginner's mind it's like a mindfulness meditation in a sense. It's like it's where you basically experience everything and anything, whether it's eating food, whether it's walking in the snow and the mud. Like when you experience that, it's you have to experience it in a sense that you've been doing it for the first time. So and it makes the experience more pleasurable and enjoyable. So when you were mentioning that you were walking in the snow and the mud, you know, uh, that was not your first time walking in the snow and the mud, but it was your first time walking in the snow and mud in Iceland,
Oh
and
yeah,
a really magical, the land of ice and snow and fire,
yeah,
and
Iceland area.
yeah, and walking in the snow and the mud may just be walking in the snow and mud for some people, but for you, walking in the snow and mud in Iceland was awesome. It was just
Yeah.
unbelievable. It's different. It's not like you're just walking the snow and mud. So I'm pretty sure that experience, in Iceland was fantastic.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, because just the different places that we went. Because there's, I mean, just the geography of the place is so diverse, and you can go to this one place and it's a certain way, then you go to another place and it's a different way,
And
and
that's
then
like the
just
mountains here. That's the same way here. It's
yeah,
like you go from like Boulder. Boulder's all rugged. Like the South Bear Peak is freaking dangerous. And then if you go like to Conifer, it's like a giant sandbox for kids. Like it's a playground, So it's like, and you're not talking far off the map. It's not a far distance, but everywhere you turn and go, it's different.
Yeah, and it's a little scary sometimes, but the thrill is there. Like Forrest Fenn says in his book, a thrill of the chase. That's
Mhm.
kind of what it is. You're after something out there. There's always something to look forward to, and also like a lot of the hikes with you, Najib. is like the blood, the sweat, and tears kind of make the experience.
Hmm.
That's what you remember. You remember scraping your knee that time, or rolling over, or hurting your ankle, or having to have someone help you carry you out.
Yeah,
Those are the things you remember, and getting through it. And then that kind of helps you get through life because you remember how much you went through on this simple hike that you pushed and made it happen and survived
absolutely.
that hike.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's a lot of lessons in the mountain, and it teaches you so much. Like, I'm surprised people don't go and do it, man, because I mean, it teaches you everything about life. Me and my wife, we have two kids. Alhamdulillah, thank God, we got two kids, and
Awesome.
before our second born, we had miscarriage. Huh? And the day after, we, like, literally maybe 2 days after our miscarriage, I told my wife, I said, listen, we need to go to the mountains, just me and you, and let's just, go, and it will heal us. And while we were hiking, we were going up Mount Falcon. It was a trail, and she just burst out crying, and you know she's just started telling me, this mountain's teaching me that we are going through something that's very hard, and this mountain is steep, and it's very difficult. The terrain it was tough, and it's enduring. And she said, but once we got up to the top, there's comfort and there's peace. And you know what, dude? Like 2 months later, we got pregnant.
That's awesome, man.
And it was just like, that lesson itself right there was teaching us, you're going through something really tough in life, but if you just keep on pushing, like you said, you keep on getting through that tough, like, experience, you're going to eventually just have relief. I mean, you're not going to keep on being in pain and suffering all the time. So that was a nice lesson that we were taught by the mountain, one of the
Yeah,
many.
that's a beautiful lesson. Exactly. I feel like when I get to the top, like your wife explained to you, there is a level of peace and
Hmm.
also accomplishment. And like, not everybody can do that, and do it while you can.
Yeah, and it's like, every lesson is different. Like, the last time I went hiking, you see in the city, there's so much drama, so much negativity, and the mountains, they really ground the person, whoever visits or whoever greets the mountain. They become grounded in the sense that they become, literally, like, with positive ions and negative ions. It's a
Hmm.
real energetic force. And when you surround yourself by good energy, when you get up there away from the city, you see that the city is filled with chaos, or however, it depends how you look at it. But in our current state that we are in, and in the States and in the world, it's chaotic. I'm not going to lie. But when you go up to the mountains, it's pure stillness. It's stillness and it's peace. And you don't see that chaos up there. You'll never see it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely an escape, and it's not like you're escaping from the problems.
Right.
Sometimes we just need a breather. Our brain needs a breather. Our lungs need to breathe.
Hmm.
And
Fresh
that's what
air.
the and I've heard that just by breathing around trees, we're helping the trees too.
Oh, dude, I
So
love trees. I have a connection with it. You see me hug them all the time.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
It's scientifically proven. I mean, to connect with nature in that sense, it's really healing, and it's good for your immunity, and it has a whole bunch of benefits.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, so much, and it was hard when I first moved out here to just go hiking by myself. But when I met you and Omar, things just clicked, and you guys took me to some of the best places I've ever been to, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'll always go back to them if I can find them because they're pretty tough to find.
Yeah, they were
But
kind of just like, even some of them were just random places. We're just like, let's go up there.
yeah, yeah, and I liked how you guys did it. You basically, you know, basically let go of the wheel and let the wind take you. I
Yeah.
thought that was really great. Obviously, with no cars around, but
That's
but
how
yeah,
we did it.
yep,
That's how we did it. And we had a lot of time to kill, which was nice. Like before adulting. I mean,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, you could be gone for 5 days. Yeah, as
yeah.
long as somebody knew where you were.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always tell people where you're going. That's probably one of the rules you were already going to talk about, but that's something you taught me. I believe you always told your parents or your brother or your cousin, whoever it was, you always told them the general vicinity of where we'd be.
Yeah, and yeah, generally even the exact latitude, longitude, the coordinates, they
Yeah,
just may
that's
be
smart.
numbers and decimals to some people, but like those are like, this is where I'm gonna be. Like if I get
Yeah.
lost or if I fall, God forbid, or whatever. I mean, like I said, anything can happen. You got to let
Mhm.
people know where you're at. And the biggest mistake, like literally, it's a suicide mission. If you don't tell anybody where you're going, and you're like, oh, I'll be fine. You don't
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
and nobody
Yeah.
knows.
The best hiker in the world something can happen. So it's always great.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
There was a guy that lost both legs last winter, and he was climbing a 14er, and he basically lost both legs because his first mistake was he didn't tell anybody where he's going. So that he was signing his death certificate right there, and then he basically, what happened was, I mean, he got lost. I mean, you're talking a human being on a huge mountain, on a 14,000 foot mountain, and he got lost on that, which is not surprising in the winter,
Yeah.
and his legs got both frostbite,
Oh man.
and yeah, and he was found by some skiers, I think.
Thank God.
Yeah, so he was lucky to live, and
Yeah.
but like the news was like, oh, he's a professional hiker, and I'm like, dude, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
There is
Uh,
no such thing. There's a difference. There's a smart hiker, and there's a not smart hiker.
and then you have the climbers. I forget the specific guy's name, but he just his blood does not boil. He's like the most even keeled guy out there, and he can go climb on the edge of a mountain with no no hooks or anything. So that
Homer's
takes a
like that.
different kind of brain. That I cannot do that, but there are people out there that can.
Yeah, that takes some. I mean, there's spots that I was like, I'll climb it, but there's spots where I'll be like, I'm definitely not climbing that. You just
Yeah,
got to be smart, Like I mean, it's not about bravery, or it's not about like being the strongest. It's about wit. If you think about it,
yeah.
it's really about smarts.
And things can change quickly out there. I mean, I had a scare with you. Well, your cousin mainly, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was he saved me and pulled me up 10 feet by his foot. I
hmm
don't think I'm exaggerating. Was that about the distance?
I remember he did save you with his foot, and there
Yeah.
was I was on the outside because, like, I told you guys, I was like, I'm not going in there. I saw I saw like the climbing gear, like I saw
Yeah.
those things in the wall, and I'm like, no, dude, I'm not going in there. But you
Oh.
you guys went in there. And then I remember you coming out, and Homer was the one that basically pulled you up with his leg, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I held on for dear life, and he used his upper body to pull me and him up about 10 feet. And
Well, the
it was
scariest. Yeah, go ahead.
it was a crazy experience, and underneath us was about a 200-foot drop, we believe, because we did drop a rock down there, and I think you were the one to try to test that out.
Yeah, and you know, and the craziest thing was you guys were inside the mountain
Yeah.
in a cave.
Yeah.
So that's the scariest thing. Like, I mean, if somebody was to fall into that, like, I mean, God knows, like, you know, how deep it goes even.
Yeah, I actually definitely consider that a near-death experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
In a different way than maybe others may experience it. But for me, that was trusting my faith and everything in my soul. And, you know, I believe for Omar, it was the same way because he had strength of 5 people at that time. And I'm just very, very grateful he was there for me. I wouldn't have probably got into it without him because he is so experienced and knowledgeable, but we just got to strike a bravery, I guess.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy how your brain shifts when you're under, you know, survival situation. Like, I remember we were getting stalked by a mountain lion, and in the Hayman Fire Wilderness, where those caves are, where those underground waterfalls are, and it was me and Candace. I don't know if you remember her, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. So me and her were chilling. We didn't have a flashlight, dude. Like we just went there to just like eat apples and hot dogs next to a fire. And it was winter. So I mean, you know, bears were asleep. That was for sure. But we heard something stalking. It was walking around us. And just like my brain switched to survival mode, and I was like, we got to make spears and we got to make torches. Those are the first 2 things. And then while this thing was walking around us, basically stalking us and like planning how it was going to attack, we were also we were planning how to protect ourselves. So I made 3-pronged spears for both of us, and I made torches for both of us. And dude, the minute I told her, I said, we're gonna throw on some brush after we put the fire. If this thing comes out, we gotta yell at it like it's a bad dog, and we gotta fight it if it's gonna fight us. And sure enough, once I put out the fire, you hear a rawr, you know, comes through the bush, through the creek, right at us. And I lit the fire up. I kicked a bunch of sticks and dried grass, under the fire. Yeah, and it lit up, and you could see these 2 eyes after I screamed at it. Like I was like, "Get back!" Like really loud. It echoed, and you could see
like
two eyes.
murder.
Oh yeah, dude. I was ready to kill it. I was like, you know, it's me or him, and it's not going to be me or Canada. It's going to be the lion, and you could see these.
Yeah, that happened recently out here.
Yeah,
you know, where a runner actually did have to defend himself.
You have to. I mean, it's a survival in that sense. It's survival of the fittest. But yeah, I mean, we're really lucky, man. I saw its both eyes looking at us through the bush, and then I walked backwards the whole time with the spear and the torch. And Candace,
you never turn your back on those.
Yeah, you never turn your back. But
turn your back.
Yep. Yeah. And then we got up to the car, which took about 30-minute hike, and he or she was following us, and the thing was the size of a dinner table. It was huge.
Oh my Lord!
It was huge. Dang. So, but I'll tell you, when you go into survival mode, you go into survival mode. That's a given. Yeah. You know, and so like with your experience inside that tunnel, I mean the adrenaline rush with Homer's leg.
Yeah, say the fear and the adrenaline.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what he told me inside the tunnel? He said, if you freak out, basically we're both dead.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Or he's going to let me go.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what he says. And I don't want to quote him wrong, but either way, he said, we're basically both dead if I freak out.
Yeah.
Or he might've said that after I got out of the tunnel. He said, it's even on video. He said, if you would have freaked out, you know, that wouldn't have been good.
Yeah. You know, Homer's had to snap me out a couple times
Oh,
He
he's good
slapped me,
at
dude.
it.
He
He's
slapped me
really
on
good
the
at it.
face. We were on a cliff edge and
Oh,
yeah, climbing
really?
without rope, and he slapped me because I was like hyperventilating and crying.
Oh,
Dang.
oh my gosh. Well,
It's-
it can happen, man. I tell you, I was almost there, but
yeah,
he kept me calm, and he's a very experienced, and
yeah,
I trust him with my life.
yeah.
I,
He's very very smart,
yeah,
and very
yeah,
experienced, and he does those daring things that he has the climber's brain that you're meant to.
yeah, and I'm not gonna follow him down a crevice and then
Good.
go straight up
Yeah,
ever again.
I'm good on that. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like I'm the type of like I would consider myself, if not just like a hiker, but like also a survivalist.
Ooh, yeah.
So, you know, like I when I go hiking, I prepare not just for a day hike. Even if I'm going with my kids and my wife, like I
Yeah.
prepare like as if we're gonna need to live out there for a few days or a week, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So
Yeah.
like yeah, I carry my backpack has, name it, man. It has flares, it has, you know,
It has teepee. I know
it
that.
has TP. It does have TP. It has, I mean, cords, it has knives, it has fire making tools, uh
Rope.
rope, it has, yeah, man, you name it.
Yeah.
You name
First
it.
aid, of course.
First aid kit. I've had to
Yeah.
use those a few times, you
Have
know.
you ever encountered a snake out there? And do you know what to do if people do?
That's, you know, to be honest with you, honestly, I'm more afraid of a snake than I am of a mountain lion or a bear. And
Wow.
I
Even after that story, you
even
just
I really am. Because well, like you know how we come down the mountain, you know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it just takes 1 second for a snake to just bite, you know, and not just any snake. We have rattlesnakes here, you
Mm.
know. So and those things are brutal, man. Those things, they have like flesh eating venom. So
Especially the babies, right?
yeah,
Because they
yeah,
don't regulate.
yeah. I've came across a rattlesnake, and it's kind of like I've forgotten Greek mythology. The sirens, they're called. You know how they sing, and then they
Mhm.
like kind of draw in the victim.
Yeah.
Well, rattlesnake does that too. Like a person is gonna hear a rattle, they're gonna be like, "Oh, what is that?" And they're gonna walk up and look at it, you
Mm.
know. But before that, it's too late.
Oh,
You know, so when I saw a rattlesnake, actually I didn't even see it, I heard it. I
mhm.
wanted to go and look at it. And I was with Dr. Kronoble, professor of geology at CU Denver, and he just grabbed me from my shoulders and he's like, "What are you doing? You're gonna get bit." You know, and he pulled me back. But I've luckily, knock on wood, I haven't seen any snakes or spiders, especially in the places that we go. But I've heard them.
Mm.
You have.
Yeah, yeah. I've been lucky. We've I think I was with you when we ran into like a milk snake.
Yes, the
Uh,
red and black one
yeah, wasn't that a big snake?
is huge, and it was on a
Yeah,
tree.
yeah, and we just like came over a cliff because we were hiking. It was not to the total top, but yeah, it was right by the tree,
Hmm.
and we kind of just like looked over the edge and saw this huge snake, and we kind of just like backed down and took
Yeah,
a different route.
yeah. You know, when it comes to snakes and stuff, like and other predators, snakes, you just got to give them their. I mean, like any other predator, you got to give them their space and their distance. You know,
Yeah.
and you back
Well,
away from them.
I've done research and there's a lot of conflicting things whether the snake bite kit works, whether you try to suck out the venom,
Yeah,
but
No,
best
don't do that.
yeah,
yeah,
don't
that's
do
not a
that.
good idea.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
I,
The best
right.
the best advice I've heard is try to get
to
to a
the hospital.
hospital as soon as possible.
That's the advice I got. I don't even have a snake bite kit because I
Right.
know that like if the minute, God forbid, a snake, especially a rattlesnake, bites a person, you get your butts to the hospital as quick as you
Mhm.
can. because I mean they have all the tools for you to survive, and they could save your parts.
Well, you basically have to like tie your vein, like tourniquet your vein.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how well someone could do that out in the field.
Yeah.
Now, if you can't get to a hospital, it might be an option, but you might want to get some training before you even buy that kit.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, like in regards to like snakes and venomous creatures and stuff, it's always good to research the area that you're gonna hike. Whether it's animals or whether it's topography, like looking at like where the cliffs are and where the dangers and the threats are to your life and well-being. I've researched areas that we've hiked, and we have brown recluses here.
Yeah.
And we've gone in some caves and tunnels where they live. But
I used to work with them on a machine in Arizona, and it's not a good feeling. It's better if you don't know they're there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy the experience. But I'll tell you, like,
be aware.
Yeah, just be aware, be cautious.
Yeah, learn to identify that stuff so you can spot it, and then you see it, so you know to give that stuff a wide berth.
100%.
I hiked in, every place that I visit, I try to hike, whether it was, I went to Minnesota and hiked out there, or I went to Nevada, Las Vegas, dude. Like, everybody goes to the casinos, and I'm up in freaking, it was Mary Jane Falls, and
cool.
Yeah, and that was beautiful, but it's unbelievable. Like, I mean, when you get to go see the different parts of the world and the country, they're all so special. Like, even California, like hiking out there you hike up a mountain and you see ocean. That's freaking awesome. Like, it's everywhere I go, I try to hike. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'll have to take you to Michigan sometime in the UP. Show you some areas over there if you ever get a chance.
I would love that. I would love
vacation or something. We still have our cabin. My dad does, and his brothers. Maybe we can make a trip before they get too old and sell it or something like that.
Yeah. I don't think I could live out in the mountains unless I'd have to. But I would love to get like a property out there or build one. Just have like a vacation home up there.
Yeah, that's my dream too. I'm definitely working towards that as we speak, and it's thrilling and also kind of scary and challenging at the same time. Which is kind of what we all want. We all want a challenge. We all want to better ourselves. So
I was looking over those questions that you put together about the mountain. And why I'm drawn to it, and I sat down and I reflected on that, and like I was saying, it's one of my dreams to build a home up there to have as a vacation home, and being drawn to the mountain is not just like physical, like the desire to go, like to actually go and move up there. But it's dynamical. It's just like a whole bunch of, it's spiritual, it's emotional, physical, psychological. I'm just drawn up there like an energy force. It's telling me to come, up there. And I answer the call that I really do hear.
I agree with you. Like, a lot of the times you and Omar said it, and at first I was kind of skeptical, like, yeah, they're calling, or we'll just let the wind take us. After a while, I really started believing you, because every hike we did was better than the next, and we just made it fun. We ran, we basically played like kids. We jumped off, we rolled. We might not be able to do some of the stuff we used to do.
Yeah.
But we had a great time. I mean, it felt like the moon sometimes when you spoke of the hill. That's what that reminds me of, like running down, and it's almost like you're jumping in pine needles,
Yeah.
6 inches thick. So it's like zero gravity almost when you fall. It's just like you're bouncing.
It's beautiful, and it is like kind of going into space, like especially if you go up to the high the high alpine or even above tree line, you're literally like physically going into space. And that's the
Wow.
coolest thing about it. It's like when you're up there, yes, there's lower oxygen up there. And when you get up there, it's like everything slows down, man. Like your pace slows down. Your breathing is really short. And I don't know if you've done 14. Have you done 14ers?
Not a full one. I've been close.
Oh my God. So you know what it's like.
Close to it. Yeah, it's breathtaking in both ways.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally breathtaking in both ways. But
And I've never been in the best shape. I was in the best shape of my life when we were hiking all the time. And that is my favorite workout. But
it
definitely breathtaking, even if you're in good shape. And, in the legs, like I didn't realize how much, like you say, getting up to it, you feel one part of your legs, but then as you're going down, then you feel the soreness of that leg plus the other muscle working. So it's a really cool way to feel your body and kind of get in touch with your body as well.
Yeah. I told my wife, Lifetime Fitness opened up, huh? They opened up again after this coronavirus thing. And I told my wife, I was like, before they reopened, I told my wife, well, let's go to the mountains and hike. And, we took my daughter up there, and we were, dude, we do like 3 miles, man, and, I told my wife when we were driving back last time, I was like, you know what? I don't even think we needed membership, because like the best shape that I've ever been in my life was from hiking. It wasn't from the gym.
Me too.
The mountains were my gym.
And guess what? We don't need a membership for the mountains.
Yeah, you really don't. You really
yet,
don't.
right?
Yeah. Not yet. Yeah.
Well, I did, some state parks.
Well, you have a lifetime's membership.
Yeah, you do have a lifetime membership. Yeah.
That's right.
I'll tell you, some places though, I do think that they should put reservations. Dude, you remember Red Rocks, man? How we used to be able to frickin' walk barefoot in some places in there. And then we went again later. You remember how over the years we just started to see like more human activity?
Yeah, very quick.
Frickin' A, man. Like they would break glass where we used to climb up barefoot.
Do you think it's from the influx of people moving here? Maybe the age group that's moving here? I mean, there was at one time like 100,000 people moving here a year, or I might be getting these numbers wrong, but there was quite a lot of people since the legalization of cannabis.
Yeah, I really, dude, I don't know what I would do with myself if I saw somebody doing graffiti on a rock formation in the mountain and then breaking glass and then littering. I don't know what I would do. I would flip out, dude. Like, and I don't know I think it's just the lack of human knowledge. Like these people that are breaking glass and graffitiing and doing all these things, it may, like, the population boom might be a contributing factor, but I think the main factor, I think 99 or 98% of it is they don't know what they're doing. Like, when they graffiti, that graffiti's going to be there, man. Nobody's going to remove that. And the same thing with the glass. And the same thing with their litter. That stuff's going to be there forever. So I would say even probably Brandon, 100% of it is the lack of knowledge.
Well, and I seen it because I've been here over 10 years now. And I've seen it change, and it might not be just that demographic, but I feel like the people from here just know how to take care of their place.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the people that are from here, exactly like you said.
And you made sure when I went hiking, I would do the same.
Hmm. Yeah, leave no
Of
trace.
course, I learned that growing up in Michigan, but it's cool that you guys enforced it because this is where you grew up. This is where you're from.
Hmm.
And you want to make sure we can continue doing this because the thing is, if we do leave a trace, then either someone else has to pick it up or they close the park and we're not allowed to go there anymore.
Right. Yeah, and
So
and then I mean, and our kids, and them, they won't enjoy it. I mean, just
yeah,
like
they don't want to see Snickers wrappers
yeah, man.
on the green grass.
Yeah, it really takes away the purpose of going. Like you said, there's always a purpose to go, and like when people litter and when they do all those bad things up there, they're disrespecting nature. First off, and this is our home. This is our land. This is what kept us alive. You know, I mean,
Yep.
nature is what keeps human beings alive. Nature proved to us with this coronavirus that it doesn't need us
Yeah.
to survive. Nature will be
True.
just fine.
I was just thinking about
I
that,
think
like
we
how
mentioned
quickly
that.
it takes over, like how quickly it will come back when people are gone.
Yeah.
Just
Oh.
you've seen it, like because like the canals in Venice, how quickly those cleared out and dolphins started coming back,
Hmm.
Mm.
and
And
now
then
they're changing their entire like tourism policies to keep those canals clean. But like nature doesn't care. I mean, it's gonna be there.
yeah,
It's up to us to keep it in the best condition we can because
yeah.
it's a finite resource.
It's
And
it's a give, and it's like nature is giving us life, all right, and we have to return it with respect by whether it's like planting trees and fruits and vegetables, or
an
and
equilibrium.
yeah, it's a balance, and like those people that don't know that balance, they lack that understanding. They shouldn't
Respect.
go up there. They don't belong there. They really don't. It's horrible to say that, but they don't
Well,
belong.
They don't
they need to
belong
be
there.
accompanied by an adult.
Yeah.
Well, they need. Maybe they do belong there, but it's with someone who can educate them about it. Like they need
Yeah.
to be educated about it.
Yeah, that's
what
what
I
I think.
You don't want people just like not be there because then they don't learn. Like you want people like we're just like with everything going on. You want people to be educated
That's the thing.
about this. They don't know. It's like, but they have to be able to be exposed to it.
Hmm.
But they need to be paired with responsible people who can show them.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that draws back to they lack the knowledge. They lack that education, and um, you know, going
They
off.
also lack discipline.
Yeah, discipline. Right? But like
Yeah.
really, to be honest with you, like it goes both ways. Like Andrew was saying, it's a balance, it's an equilibrium.
Mm.
You know,
Hmm. Yeah, nature will give us what we give it. So
yeah, and
let's treat it nice.
it's really interesting. Nature is a beautiful, powerful, living force. It's existing. It's breathing. Uh, it has an energy field. And we're part of that. We're part of nature. But just
Yeah.
because we're living in the city or because we're living outside of the nature, we don't live in the mountain and we don't have to hunt deer and elk to survive right now. And we're very fortunate. We have electricity and all that, heat, AC. We have that. But I think people are becoming very um, um nature deficient.
It's a great way to put it.
They're
Yeah,
becoming
for
very
sure.
nature deficient, and they're,
Disconnect.
yeah, there's a big disconnect, and I mean, those people. I look at the people in the grocery store, you guys, and I see this. I just, for example, I'll look at a person and I'll be like, they will not last in they won't last in the mountain. They won't. They won't last
No
there.
judging, Najib.
But I can't judge. They might have climbed Everest for all I know. But like the average person is what I'm trying to say. The average person should educate themselves to survive, to be able to to depend on nature as a survival tool.
And I think that's why
The
we're
way
here
things are
today.
going, might need to be a more widespread skill to be able to survive, because
Of course.
it might come in handy sooner rather than later. You never know.
Seeing meat not on the shelf scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, same here. And I don't even eat it every day. I eat very little meat. And for now on, I'm picking specific sources where I get my meat.
Yeah.
And that's it. Just because I do believe factory farming is horrible.
It is horrible.
So I don't want to prescribe to that anymore, or subscribe, whatever the best word is.
Yeah, it's horrible. And I never agreed with hunting until I started to see the food disappearing off the shelf. And like for me, like I'm not going to be disrespecting the elk if I'm going to bring it home to feed my family. On the contrary, I think in a sense, when I take the elk, I respect it and I thank it and I appreciate what it's giving me. I
felt when I was a young kid and got a deer. It was a total different experience for me, and I don't know how Andrew feels about it, but for me the meat that I got myself was the best meat I've ever tasted in my life, and I respected it and said a prayer at that very moment. So
right,
I think you're right
hunting for sustenance is one thing. Trophy hunting is a whole other thing, which is complete bullshit to go trophy hunting.
I agree.
Because people like in Africa are going hunting things that aren't threat. Like people who are hunting giraffe, like dude, you have serious issues.
That's fucked up. to like shoot at like a peaceful zebra, dude. Like, come on, dude.
Right, but then you sit there acting like you're this big, like, strong person. Like, oh, look what I shot. It's like, dude, you're on a guided tour where you sat in a fucking truck and shot something with a high-powered rifle. You didn't hunt. That's not hunting. You weren't in the woods. It wasn't you against that animal. It was just you paying some person to take you out on a Jeep to shoot something out that you should never shoot.
Right. I 100% agree with you, Andrew.
If you're going to go, like, hunting, like, it's one thing, like, I don't know, if you want to take a gun, sure, but obviously, like, I think the real thing is, like, if you take some actual tools, like a bow and arrow kind of hunting, but if you're, like, actually out there in the wilderness, like, using your skills that you have developed to try to actually hunt something where you're not just sitting in, like, a game trail, that's a whole different thing. But then if you take what you kill and use it for something and not just stuff it and mount it, that's a whole other level of respecting nature. Like you're still killing something, but it's for a purpose.
Right. Well, a lot of them, you can still mount a deer or an animal and still eat the meat.
Right, so, but it's not the only thing you're doing with this. My whole point is like you're not just taking, like, you're not just going out and like, hey, I'm going to kill this.
Right.
Let's
and I can see the mounts being weird to people. So it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
I've never had a mount myself. Well, I had one on my wall from my dad, but I've never got one mounted. I think the meat and using every part of it is the most important thing. Well, and also saying a prayer.
Yeah, and that goes back to respecting nature. I mean, people might not agree with, the hunting, right? Just the word hunting. But there's two types of hunting. There's meat hunters, which I would consider myself going to be. And then there's the trophy hunters, which I don't agree with at all, like you guys. Like, dude, what the hell? Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing, dude? Like, you know, I mean, they're
just
making money too.
cowards.
Yeah, and I really consider it cowardly too. I don't think
And
making something suffer for your pleasure is that's
no,
psycho.
no,
Yeah.
no. And some places count on this tourism money to survive.
Hmm.
So they need to make new laws so they don't let these things happen. Because don't make it something you can pay for a lot of money for and that everybody can profit. That's not the way we need to go.
Yeah.
And also to mention, like here in America, we have conservation laws, and they're actually very strict with how they manage wildlife,
Which is
and
nice. Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
And one thing we pay for when we get a fishing license or a hunting license, we pay for those DNR officers to go around and take care of those poachers and get rid of those
Hell
poachers
yeah.
that are shooting animals out of season, that messes up the cycle, messes up the numbers.
Yeah.
And sometimes the numbers are high, so they might release more tags that year. So that's basically how it goes, and it's paying into itself. Like, I believe most systems should be put in place. I feel like
I agree.
our system is a pretty good system when done right.
Yeah, Colorado Parks and Wildlife do a great job, and like I'll publicly on this podcast like say that they are doing a freaking awesome job at restoration, preservation. I mean, dude, like when I was starting to get into this hunting thing, I
Mm.
was just like, oh, I gotta get a gun and then I can go. And it's not like that, dude. You can't do that. Like,
Uh,
you don't get a gun and just go. Like, there's so much to it, dude. Like you said, there's laws and they have
and
GMUs, game management units, and draws and a bunch of stuff, man. There's a lot
yeah,
to
I
it.
mean, looking at trends of the herd and where they're going and how
Yeah.
how they move, all these things take into play. It's and especially elk. You could be hiking miles and miles. I've never hunted elk, but I've heard it's a very strenuous
Mm.
task.
Yeah. Yeah. My,
Uh,
my uncle said the same thing. I asked him, he's 82 now, you know?
oh,
And I was like, yo, you want to come hunting with me? He's like, dude, I can't even walk to the store.
yeah, you have to walk miles. Like,
Yeah.
we're not ready yet.
And
We
I'm excited for that aspect too to experience that because you know how I am with the wilderness and with nature.
Mhm.
Like that's something I can do. Like I
Yeah,
can definitely, I know confidently that even if I do bag an elk or not, like having that experience of going into the nature, and walking and exploring and trying to find my food for my family, like that's a experience once in a lifetime.
it's primal,
Hmm.
and it really doesn't have to be once in a lifetime. But I see what you're saying.
Hmm.
uh, but it brings you back to our roots, whether it be a bow and arrow, which I really want to learn. I
Yeah.
think that's an incredible skill to know. And actually, I live right by a archery range, so that
Nice.
might be in my future.
A lot of
Yeah.
archers say that it's they feel like the archer hunter. They say that
Mhm.
it's more fair to the animal in the
Well,
sense that like you're giving him a chance or her,
mhm.
you know.
Yeah, and I'm a Sagittarius, so it is the archer,
Oh,
so it
cool.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's right. Yeah. But yeah, like it all draws down to respecting and connecting, like you said, back to our roots. Like just because we live in the city doesn't mean we need to stay here. And to be honest with
Yeah,
you, I can't stay here. I'll freaking go crazy, dude. Like,
yeah,
and if anybody will try to stop me, they won't be able to. Like, I will walk there if I have to. I that's how strong my connection with the nature is. Like for me, I feel like I need nature to survive. Like I need nature to be mentally healthy, physically healthy, emotionally, psychologically, and energetically healthy. Like I need that. That's my literally like my life blood, like life source.
yeah. That's your identity, man.
That is my identity. And like I did want to do it as a
That's
career.
insane.
What is it?
That and your family,
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And I did want to do it as a career. I applied for like park ranger jobs, and
Mhm.
um, I think I'd prefer it as a hobby. Like I want
Yeah.
to do it because I enjoy it, you know? And I think with the park ranger job it would be fun, but like I'd have to relocate like 5 hours away and it's not
Yeah.
really structured.
And like put yourself in danger at times, like yell at people that have guns.
Yeah, that's
And
the thing too. It's like, no, I'm good on that. I don't want to deal with drunk people up there.
no,
I don't know what they're
is
gonna
it-
do.
I actually wanted to do the same thing
Yeah.
until I realized that it was like, um, just like you said, basically. And I actually did a job shadow in Fort Wayne, at a place called Fox Island, and they were telling me some cool things, and I was pretty excited about it. But just the fact that you would have to like arrest people and do these
Yeah.
things, I didn't really want to be the mean guy,
Dog the
so I
bounty
wanted to
hunter.
make sure. Yeah,
Grow,
yeah,
mold it
but
out, and spray somebody with mace. Yeah.
no more
No,
of
but the
that.
park rangers are great people though. Like they're really. I mean, they care about our natural resources and they look after the safety and well being of people. And you need people like that up there.
Hmm.
You do.
And they know the lay of the land.
They
They
do.
know what's up there. If you need any help, they'll be more than willing to give you directions or different things. If you
Hmm.
need help, ask a ranger. They know.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's really important to have that connection um, with people that do know the mountains and do know the terrain. They're your guides, they're your teachers, they're your support. They're basically your beacon, your light beacon
Hmm.
in those places. And I would say, to be honest with you, my light beacon happened to also be Homer, my cousin.
Hmm.
And like he really, like my sisters and my dad and my family, they always took us to the mountains to go and picnic. And my dad introduced me to the mountains, of course, you know. And
Yeah.
but I'll tell you, like the one that was basically like getting me really into it was Homer, my cousin. He really got
Yeah.
me into that. And now,
Same here. Same here.
yeah, and now I'm my daughter's beacon,
Oh,
and she frickin' dude, she's like, she tells me, "Hey, Baba, let's go camping," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, let's do it, dude." Like I can't say no.
and how old is your daughter?
Now she's 7,
Oh,
and then
how old is yours, Ian?
7.
oh
Oh, that's
wow,
cool.
look at that. Yeah, so I got a 7-year old and I have a 2.5 month old.
Right on. Congrats on that,
Thanks,
Najib.
dude. But I'll tell you that exposing them to nature, like I took my newborn to the mountains at like 3 days old. My mom's probably not gonna like hearing this, but at like 3 days old, I took her up there with the family, and just like introduced her to it,
Yeah.
and they love it.
Yeah, I bet they can feel that energy you're talking about.
Yeah.
Kids are really good at that. They're connected to that more than we are because they're closer to the source than we are.
Oh
You
yeah.
know.
It's like she may look like my wife, but she's literally me. She hugs trees, dude. you know?
Yeah, you got a good one.
Yeah, and I'm lucky. And she walks barefoot, like we're grounding. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah, that's to help with the first chakra.
that's the way to do it, man. I
Yeah, the root chakra.
yeah, I ground all the time. So if I find a nice, safe spot to walk barefoot, you know, I'll do
Yeah,
it.
remember that time Red Rocks? It was like indentations or the other way around, but we were just kind of massaging our feet with the rocks.
Yeah. Oh, well, and you're able to. It's pretty cool. A lot of people think that you won't be able to climb well barefoot,
Mm.
but I'll tell you, like, I climbed better barefoot than I did with shoes.
Yeah, you just got to watch out for sharp rocks cutting your foot open and things like
Cacti.
that. Other
Cactus
than
hurt.
that,
Stepping on cactus is the worst.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
we
but
ate cactus before.
we did. We ate
Yeah.
cactus. We ate sage. Up at Elk Creek, there's wild mint growing up there.
Oh
Yeah, and
yeah.
raspberries, dude.
Mm-hmm. We always found them,
Yeah, and you know
or
that.
they found.
Yeah, it was mutual. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the nature has so much to offer, man, in so many different ways.
Yeah, I have a question. So how could so we kind of talked about you know um how can we just help people keep these places clean? I think we mentioned a few things earlier, like just go with someone experienced or do the research. Do you
Mhm.
have any more advice for people to keep the places clean or how they can do
Yeah,
that?
I mean, my best advice is just leave it better than the way you found it.
Mm.
And like if you see trash, pick it up. You know, like if you see glass laying there or a empty bag of chips, you know, pick it up, put it somewhere safe. Like obviously, you don't want to carry broken glass in your pants. They'll break in there. But like
No.
I would say, my best advice, to be honest with you guys, is leave it better than you found it, and then just continue that teaching with anybody that you basically meet. Um, I think, to be honest with you, my honest response to somebody breaking glass or doing graffiti would be like, in a respectful, teachable manner. You just got to remind them, like, hey, don't you want to leave this place, more beautiful for your kids and their kids? And I think educating others is definitely another factor, because that's what it
Yeah.
all boils down to, is you're educating people.
And you know what's wild? I was just thinking I wasn't going to bring this up, but we talk about some of the things like vandalism, litter, fires, even.
Hmm.
It's kind of what's going on in the world right now with the riots,
Oh yeah,
and I think the same message applies. Like, leave it better than you found it.
yeah, yeah, and
Feel free, definitely go out there and make your voice heard, but leave it better than you found it. And I
yeah,
think Denver is a great example of that. I saw some pictures. I can't speak, I didn't see it firsthand, but I did see some pictures of people cleaning up the graffiti.
yeah. That's nice.
Have scrub brushes out there, and they were doing all the cleanup too. So not only did some people mess it up, but there's also good people out there that are going out there cleaning it up and fixing it, and making their voice heard in the right way. And
Yeah,
props to those people.
and it depends on the area that you go to, Brandon. Definitely props to those people for sure. If you're gonna go, like, to trailheads, a lot of foot activity, a lot of human activity, you're more likely to see that kind of stuff than you would be obviously going back country. But don't
Yeah.
be surprised. Like, I've been up at like 13,000 feet, man, and seen soda cans, you know,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and litter, and just like even like shotgun shells, like those
Hmm.
kind of things. Like,
Hmm.
props to those people. Like, I remember taking a bag, a black trash bag, and it was part of my survival kit. But I was like, you know what? Like, there's a lot of freaking trash here. And it was up in Red Rocks. And I was like, I'm going to pick this up. And then when you look back at your work and you're like, I just cleaned that, it's like the feeling that you get. It's like you literally hear the mountain say thank you.
Mm.
And
Yeah, like take a breath of fresh air or
yeah,
something to that.
because God knows how long that's going to be there for if you didn't pick it
Uh-huh.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think by educating people to really leave it better than you found it, they should have. I think it'd be nice if the Department of Wildlife or Parks and Wildlife, they had a department called cleanup. And I know that they
Mm.
have restoration, like trail building and trail management and all that. But like, dude, like maybe if they had like a group of people that regularly went out there to clean, or even
Yeah, that's a great idea.
yeah, and I mean they
Uh,
have convicted felons or people with misdemeanors clean up the trash off the highway, which is great. But like, send them up there, dude. Like in an area that you can watch them, make sure they don't run off. But like, they can clean up a lot. There's a lot.
yeah, and I'm sure they would love it. You're right, though. It might be hard, uh, making sure they're all in the same area.
Yeah.
But I think you're onto something, whether it be them or us or someone else.
Yeah.
Because maybe right now it's like a special project that they have to like do on the side instead of it being someone's actual job.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe can be proactive on cleaning these things up.
Yeah, and like you said, the society has a big, um, influence too on it, Brandon. Like, Andrew, you said you traveled the world, or you mentioned you traveled around. I'm sure you've seen other countries that are just trashed, like I have. I've seen places that are freaking trashed, and I think it boils down to like how the parents raise their kids and how the society. You have to lead by example.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
and like Denver,
Yeah.
Denver does do a good job of that, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I'm proud of the people for doing the right thing and standing up for what they believe.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
I hope that after this whole coronavirus thing, it's a lesson for humanity to become more aware of how powerful nature is, and you know that it can teach everybody to respect it like it needs to be respected.
yeah.
And I hope for many of us, I think for many of us it is working.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it reminds me of what it can be. And I think your wife nailed it on the head with it. Just on top of the mountain, it brings a sense of calmness.
It does.
And if you're almost there, take a break and get up the mountain, get on the top.
Yep.
So what's I guess for you guys who do a lot of the hiking, if you haven't already been there, what's like one place that you have to like on your bucket list, like the top of your bucket list, like that you need to go or you want to go to hike or climb and do all that?
Oh, there's so many, dude. But to be honest with you, God, there's so many places that call out. Like, there's so many beautiful places all around the world, around the United States. Like, Yosemite National Park is definitely calling out to me strongly.
Yeah.
I feel.
Same here.
Yeah.
I've had friends go there and
Like more so than the other. Like there's not one in particular. It's like, hey, like this is like the place I got to get to.
well, I got one. Real quick. Just the redwoods for me.
Yeah.
That would just be like that energy times a million.
Yeah.
Because they're basically antennas reaching. So I feel like they draw a lot of that energy we're talking about.
Yeah, I would say, to be honest with you, if it's more than Yosemite that's calling out, to be honest with you, the Himalayas.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, when you have a family, you're not like, I'm gonna go do Everest. I mean, you really like there are family guys that and ladies that will go and climb Everest, and they have families and stuff. But like, I always think about my family. You have to.
Of course.
But like, if it's somewhere where I'd love to take my family and explore, it would definitely be the Himalayas. For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
That's badass.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like spiritually, even like that's kind of like where it would be
It's
because
like,
of everything that's going on there and the people who are already there. They've created an energy that exists that you would
yeah.
I feel would be great to experience.
it's like the heart of the mountains. Like if you think like it's like the basically like if the mountains had a birthplace, that's where I would think the mountains came from.
Right. Yeah.
That's how like magical and like powerful these mountains are. Like they're not just snow-capped mountains, man. They have you know, desert environment. They have forests. They have alpine. You know, so it's like a mix of things. It's kind of like the Alps too. I think would be also second on my bucket list. The Alps would
Yeah.
be cool to see, like Switzerland,
Ooh.
yeah, or New Zealand.
Yeah. 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 Oh yeah. My mom was just last, I think, well, last year at some point she was in Austria, and they were close to the Swiss Alps, and
Yeah,
the pictures that they had, she said it was just amazing. Like so, places
Did
like
she
that,
go?
like the sharp, like the real sharp mountains.
Did she do that with your brother?
No, she was
Or
on.
by her?
She was on her. She was on. Well, she wasn't by herself. She was with a group. She does a lot of educational tours, like they're called EF tours.
oh cool.
She does so many of them. That's how we went to Iceland. She takes school her class, like her students there, or to different on different locations. I think because like 2 years ago we did Iceland. They were going to do Iceland again this year, but that stuff obviously got canceled.
Mm.
They're gonna so it got can It got postponed to next year. Then I think in 21 or 22 we're going to Japan.
Whoa.
And but she goes like she takes her classes and she gets, you know, so basically what amount to miles within EF tours. So she gets to go to some of these other places for free. So she's been like Spain and like I said, just went to Austria. Um, we've done Iceland, and then when I was in middle school, we went to Mexico on the Yucatan, and that was really awesome too. But just getting to all those different places, but back to it, it's like just being in the Alps, like those were amazing like scenes that she got to see, and
That's so cool.
mountains like that definitely, yeah, and places like that I think would be awesome because you know you see pictures of them and just kind of you know you want to be there too because you can just feel the energy in those places.
Well, and the pictures don't do justice. You know, like I mean, like there's a
They're
place.
not like, geez,
Yeah.
you know, you know, I see it, but I want to experience it firsthand myself. So I just always like it, just like with the Grand Canyon, you can only see it so many times in a picture, but when you get to it, like being on the rim of the Grand Canyon is a whole different thing than just looking at a picture.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so
And
many
you know,
places to see.
because
Sorry, Brandon,
you
go.
might have 360 or you might have panoramic, but that doesn't even do it justice.
No.
It's cooler
No,
picture sometimes.
because you
But
just don't get the energy.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
like for me, like just with almost anything, just my my entire life, just being present, just with people, like so over the phone and like this kind of style is fine to stay connected, but to actually get the sense of who people are, what places are, you have to be in their
Yeah.
presence to get that energy feeling.
Yeah.
So that's always been my thing. That's why I'd like to see the pictures, but I want to actually be there to actually experience it.
Yeah, there's have you guys ever seen that that video of that cute little like 4-year-old boy looking at an ant? And he's like this super genius kid like looking at this ant and he just says the smartest like most amazing thing ever about the ant. He's like this ant lives in just this world right here, but there's all, and he just like looks around, he waves his arms around. He's like, there's all this other part of the world that he doesn't even know.
Yeah.
And it's like, and sometimes I feel like that ant. And I'm just like, you know what? We gotta explore. Like, you can't just. I mean, yes, living and working, it's important. Making money is important. How are you gonna pay your mortgage? You got to do that. But like, experiencing life, it's not how many years you lived. It's the life that you lived in those years.
yeah,
You know, and I told my wife I'm not gonna wait till I'm 62 to frickin' travel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
yeah. I've heard it. Ben explained, it's all about the dash, and that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, man. Like, I want my daughter to. I know with this whole pandemic thing, it's gonna take a while, so that we can travel and stuff. But hey, in the meantime, let's make money so that we can go travel. You
Yeah,
know,
buy your tickets now while they're cheap.
hell yeah.
And take advantage of the mountains in your backyard.
Exactly. And that's to be honest with you guys, that's what's been keeping me sane. When you guys titled this podcast "Mountains Are Our Medicine," it's true. It's
Yeah.
very true, and it's true in so many ways. I mean, it helps in more ways than none. I mean, if somebody's feeling unhappy, my answer is, I mean, depression and anxiety is a real thing. But
Mhm.
the mountains are a great, great natural, holistic way to actually heal,
Yeah.
and it works.
Well,
Yeah.
there's that whole, I think, I don't know where this came from or if we talked about it before, Brandon. There's just that whole like thing about there's something missing in human life, evolution, evolutionary speaking, because we used to always be so connected, but lately we have become more distant. Like I mentioned earlier, there's that disconnect.
Hmm.
So when you're able to reconnect to that part of our lives that we aren't near anymore, there is a healing factor to that. There's just a thing that happens in the body. There's
Yep.
chemicals that get released. There's all kinds of other things that happen when you're out there reconnecting.
Hmm.
It's I would agree, as someone with both anxiety and depression, I would agree that it is definitely a massive boost to your energy levels and just your overall state of mind. Because I know when we were out in Arizona, and we went on like a fishing trips, like I never went on those trips to go fishing. I'm not.
Mhm.
I'm not a fisher. I'm not a hunter. That's not really my
Yep.
place in life. That's not what like. That's not what I enjoy. But I enjoyed being outside and being in the presence of nature that I have never experienced before,
Hmm.
and just like being out there. So that was a huge help to me. That was just very nice, and that's kind of great for everybody to be able to do at some point in their life, not just once, but on a repeat basis.
Mm.
I studied psychology at Metropolitan State University. It's now called. It's not called College of Denver now. But I started at Metro Psychology, and I was taking a research course out there where we had to do surveys, and it was part of statistics. And I basically wanted to uh, take a I wanted to do a research study to see if nature affects your happiness. And I did this survey out of 1,000 students. I believe somewhere around 910 or 900, I don't know, I think maybe 915 students did say that they do agree that nature does make you happier. And
Mm.
the others include different factors like who you're surrounded with and all that. But nature primarily, like you were saying, Andrew, it affects a human being chemically in their brain. The dopamine levels increase, your serotonin, all oxytocin, or not oxytocin, that's the pregnancy hormone. But you get a shoot of amazing hormones in your brain, like you were saying, there's chemicals that are released. There's literally ions that are absorbed and released, like
Right.
and it works. And it really, a lot of people did say that they do believe that nature does make you happy.
Right.
And
And it's not just those chemicals. There's nutrients too that you just get from being out there. Like
vitamin D.
vitamins. Yeah. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Vitamin
There's
Just
just
D.
so
getting
there's multiple different things that are, not just mentally and physically. Like there are, not just chemicals.
Yeah.
It's healthy. Like there's health benefits to it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I when you go up to the mountains, like, and look at people, they do not look upset. They
No.
they do not. And if they're
Yeah.
upset, I don't know what's wrong with them.
Yeah, you're usually not finding rioters in the mountains.
No, you'll never find them. Everybody just needs to go on a hike, man. Like really, like literally, like, I mean, if there's like an angry person at you, just tell them take a hike. And if they take it literal, be like, I'm serious, dude. You gotta go.
Take a hike, fool.
But it's so healing, and I feel to be honest with you, I've gone camping for days, like 5 days. Even if I go to the mountains for a couple hours, when I come back, you feel renewed.
Yeah.
You really do.
And you're also glad that you have a toilet.
Yeah.
And you're thankful for the things that you take for granted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a reset button for us to be like, to appreciate everything in our lives. And
it's a great reset button.
And it's also a confidence builder to know that you can survive for a week and you'll be all good.
The city, it depends how you look at it. And it depends. I mean, people can control what they look at and what they hear. I mean, people can choose to listen to bad things and hear bad things and see bad things. But while you're in the city, or while you're out of the mountain, we're being exposed to a lot of toxic things.
Yeah.
Whether it's scrolling through Facebook and seeing posts, or
carbon
monoxide poisoning. You got even the TV, the energy that comes from our cell phones is not good for us.
5G.
Yeah, right. So like we're when we're in the city and we're being like basically like bombarded with all this stuff. When you go to the mountains, there's none of that there. And you literally get cleansed from it, and it's true. It really scientifically proven that you get cleansed from all these bad things.
I think Joe Rogan explains it pretty well. It's like when things are tough, you appreciate things better. You're kinder to your neighbors. Say like, you're in the mountains where it snows a lot and your neighbor needs help shoveling their sidewalk. You're going to help them because you're both doing it together. You're both getting through this tough winter together. And it builds that, that relationship, and it helps when you have to go through things, especially as a group of people, not just like you yourself, when everybody's dealing with the elements.
Is having a sense of community. I love those small little mountain towns up there. Have you guys ever gone to those like restaurants and like grocery stores up there?
Yeah, they have similar places like that in Indiana. I don't know if you ever been there,
No.
Jeebs. Oh well, there's small Amish towns and things like that.
Yeah,
it's really interesting. It's different than the mountains, of course, but and then there's Indiana's a pretty cool place as well. And they have a place called Chano Lakes. Isn't that right, Andrew?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and you can go canoe through these ton of lakes. I think they have something similar in like Wisconsin or maybe even Minnesota.
Brandon,
yeah.
You guys cut out there. I'm sorry, dude.
That's all right. You're here. No problem.
What did you say?
I was basically explaining about Chano Lakes in Indiana. Just this hidden gem there that you can go canoeing for hours and hours.
Oh my God.
Like people don't really realize, but Indiana does have a lot of cool things as well. It seems like just cornfields, but if you go seek it, it's just like here. It's not right in our backyard, but if we go a half hour, we can find some really cool places. And I feel there's a everywhere in the country and probably everywhere in the world, like you were saying earlier, everywhere you go, you try to find a hike.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
no matter where you're at, you can find somewhere to hike, whether it be the desert or the forest, or
yeah.
hike on the beach,
I'll tell you,
whatever it may be.
one of the most difficult places I know I would die there if I got lost is the desert. For sure.
Oh, man.
100%. Have you heard of Skeleton Coast?
Skeleton what?
Skeleton Coast?
No.
It's in Namibia. And this freaking place, dude, is so freaking brutal. They literally named it Skeleton Coast because that's all you see. And it's a desert. It's the Namib Desert. And there's, you have desert on the left. If you're looking at it, you have the desert on the left, brutal, like the Sahara. And then on the right, you have the ocean. So, you have water, but you can't drink it. And then you have a desert to your left that sucks all the water out of your body.
That's brutal.
That is gotta be the most godforsaken place. Yeah. I know for a fact that I would not be able to survive in the desert.
So where is that out? Where is that at? Like
that's that's on the South Africa in the in the Namib Desert. It's called the Skeleton Coast, and it's, dude, if you type in pictures of it, you'll be scared of it. It'll be cool to visit. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna venture in there. There's hyenas and lions out there, and yeah.
I've never heard of that.
It's a region called, they call it, some people like the locals call it the land God made in anger.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're lucky here in Colorado. Is so, like, I freaking love Colorado because, even though it's harsh, like, dude, the winters that we get here, they could kill somebody. They almost killed that guy on the 14er last winter. But we have harsh weather, but I'll tell you, it's survivable if you know how to survive.
Yeah, you can even make an igloo in the snow if you had to.
Yeah, that's one thing I haven't done yet. I love hiking in the winter. I'll snowshoe in it, and I'll ice. I put on these ice crampons.
What's your favorite type of hiking? Like by yourself, winter. What's your favorite season?
Oh man,
and like I'm sure it all depends, right?
Yeah, I love summer. Because summer hikes, dude, you can hike from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and there'll still be sunlight.
You got flowers.
But, however, it depends where you go. Like, I've gone up to Chihuahua Lakes up in Montezuma Pass, and it was 14,000 feet almost, and it was snowing in mid-July. So, it depends where you go, but I would say my favorite hike, there's something special about the winter. There's total silence, and the white with the black, with the trees in the background, and the black tree trunks or the brown tree trunks and the white all around it, and just the soft silence. There's something special about that. But with summertime, I feel like everything's busy. You hear the birds, you hear the bees, you hear woodpeckers pecking at the tree, squirrels jumping from one tree to the other, grass is green, you see rabbits. So I feel like, to be honest with you, for more eye candy, I prefer, to be honest with you, summer hikes. I like camping in it and stuff, and the weather's nice and it's warm, and you could swim in the river and the creeks.
One thing I learned about winter is it's pretty grueling, like your legs, first of all, and you're wearing more clothes.
Yeah.
So you have to wear layers so you can take them on and off basically the whole time.
Yeah.
And also, one good thing is sunglasses, because because if you'll get blinded from the snow,
Oh,
the
snow
reflection
blind?
of the sun. Because in Colorado, we have sun almost 300 days a year or so,
Yeah.
and you'll be out on a snowy day, and there'll be sun out, and then you will be blinded.
Yeah, the Colorado Rockies, especially in the winter, I won't do high mountains in the winter. I won't. The avalanche risks are high.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I mean, even though like they do have like they have like these these avalanche bag like they're like airbags for your body. And you wear it and it will literally inflate if you're, God forbid, in an avalanche, and it will keep you above the avalanche, or supposedly keep you above it, and you like
Whoa.
float on it like a balloon. But
That's wild.
yeah, so they have tools, they have beacons and stuff, but still, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You guys both have, kids.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, even as a single and no kids, I wouldn't take the risk.
I didn't.
After being with Omar and almost dying, that kind of taught me a lot about. I mean, I knew nature is unforgiving.
Yeah.
I knew that going into it. I always had a high respect for it, and I think that's how we ended up getting out of that.
Exactly. You have to have a respect for it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to put myself in that position ever again.
Yeah. And that's where it comes down to is the smarts, like like I mean, things can happen, things that you can't control. Like, dude, I've climbed Crestone Needle. The Crestones are probably one of the most dangerous mountains in Colorado, aside from Capitol Peak and the Edge Knife up there. But I've seen a rock fall up there, and there was people hiking below. And I was on the top of Broken Hand Pass when this rock fall happened. The whole mountain shook, you guys. And a chunk of the mountain came out. Not lying, dude. I didn't capture it on camera because I'm holding on to the mountain. And you know me, I'm always videotaping everything, and I didn't manage to catch that. But a chunk of the mountain came out, and I'm wondering, fuck, dude, is the mountain where I'm standing gonna come out too? And luckily it didn't, because I'm still here. But a chunk of the mountain came out, dude, and the size of houses, boulders as big as buses, coming down at some trail hikers below. And everybody did the right thing by running to the side. And when these rocks hit the base, dude, they popped. It was like giant freaking bombs of rocks. And it was like, those things you can't control. I mean, how
right?
You can't.
It kind of goes back to what we were talking about. Like, you could be the most professional person ever, but a rock falls and game over.
Yeah, I mean, well, people die on Everest all the time, and those guys are physically fit, very physically fit, and ladies, and what?
And girls,
and
guys
girls.
and girls.
Yeah, they're very fit, dude. Like, I mean, you're climbing up. Like, take our mountains and double that.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
I don't know how people do it.
they
mad respect for them, but also I don't have that gene to get up there.
Yeah,
and risk it.
There's something though about the summit. I'm a summit hiker. I love, and you know that, Brandon. I'm like, let's go up. Like, I don't know what it is.
Andrew and we went to a school called Summit, so maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah, probably. But it's just like
Fort Wayne is a summit city.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Summit City.
There's something about the summit, though. There's something about it. Homer,
what were we saying, Andrew?
I said it's not really a majestic summit, but it is. Like the highest point, or like, it's like a highest point in like the region. But we're still, like, our elevation is still lower than like even Phoenix. So
that's cool.
Wow,
that's really cool.
I didn't know that. Oh.
Dude, I would say the lowest point on Earth that I've ever been on is in the Dead Sea.
Ooh,
that's cool. That place is freaking awesome.
Yeah, before we wrap it up, I know we're heading to almost 2 hours, but before we wrap it up, I definitely want to know, like, what your experience is like. Where is the Dead Sea?
Oh, dude, the Dead Sea is in It's in the West Bank. It'd be Palestine, but it's
Okay.
occupied
Oh,
by Israel, right? So lots of
yes.
politics there. But
Okay.
um,
Did you were you able to hike there?
dude, it's so brutal, bro. Like we got actually a taxi driver got stuck, and we were in that taxi, dude. So we got stuck in the desert there, and
Oh no.
that was hardcore. We had some Bedouins actually. To make the long story short, the Israeli army didn't want to help us because the taxi driver was Palestinian and he had a
Okay.
Palestinian plate. So
Yeah.
the Israel, with the politics and stuff, they didn't help us, and
Yeah.
so we had to. My brother, he burned his shirt as a signal, and this huge truck came out, and they were Bedouins, and they tied chains to this taxi, and they pulled us out, and they took us to their Bedouin tents, and we ate. I think it was gazelle burgers,
Whoa.
which were really good.
Whoa.
But the environment in the Dead Sea, dude, is so it's probably like next thing to Skeleton Coast in terms of like how brutal it is. But there are natural springs and people are living out there. I don't know how they
Wow.
do it, but it's hot as hell.
That's hardcore. It's almost like Russia in the
Yeah,
you said that I think the Himalayas or somewhere.
yeah, Skeleton Coast almost. But I prefer the mountains, dude. It's more
It,
lush.
and it feels safe, like we're
Yeah.
not worried about hurricanes or we have a few things, but I believe the coast is less less safe than in the middle.
Yeah, I love the ocean. I have a high respect for it. I mean, being Palestinian origin, we are seafaring people. We live next to the Mediterranean. So we're kind of like Greek.
Okay.
We're kind of like Greeks in a sense. So a lot of our
Oh,
food is fish, cheese, goat. It's literally Greek. It's like a second Greece. But
that's bad.
I think my connection to nature and my um, like my feelings to it, it's all in my veins, man. It's all in my blood to be connecting to return to it, to respect it, and to enjoy its blessings that it provides. It's always going to be a part of me, and I think
Yeah.
now it's proving to be part of my daughter's. And luckily, I'm glad my wife likes it too. It's
Well,
part of
you're
our
great.
life.
You're a great influence, and you do it right, man. You prepare, like you said earlier. You have a whole backpack, basically your survival kit. You even have
Thanks,
a
man.
trash bag to pick up the trash. Rope in case anything happens. Every hike and every experience, we pick up new things that we might need.
Yeah,
For instance, when I was down in that hole, we could have used maybe a flashlight and a rope, but
yeah,
we were just going for a quick hike, and that's the story here all the time.
yeah.
So,
And
prepare.
it's in my experience, like with hiking, it's always better to have and not need than to need and not have.
Yeah.
So like any of my experience,
Like,
yeah, it goes for anything in life.
yeah,
Mm,
It really
yes.
does. But like especially with hiking, like I mean, my daughter got a scratch on her knee, and I didn't have my first aid kit. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
you know, I needed
That's
that.
the exact same thing I tell like to my like I do training as a job. Like that's my career is training people. And that's the one thing I always tell them is like, it might be like a lot of information, but I would rather you have information and not need it than need it and then not have it. Like
Exactly.
that's like a huge thing I always like live by too. Like
Yeah,
that's
And
fantastic
you
advice.
never know when you'll need it.
exactly.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, if we could know that, then we'd only learn it right before we need it.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
You
And that
can't-
and that goes for the case of society. I mean,
Yeah.
you saw people freaking out, dude. Like they were freaking losing their minds. And I was telling my wife, I was like, listen, if shit hits the fan, we're going west, dude. We're gonna live up there. I got a chainsaw. We can build a log cabin. I mean, we could poop in the woods. We'll be all
Yeah,
right.
I think a lot of society had that conversation.
They did. Yeah, it was getting scary a little bit, but
Yeah,
but people are too comfortable, and that's why. Like, I mean, if there's anything I would like to say in this podcast to the general public that are listening, like you guys said, learn, educate yourself about surviving in the wilderness, utilizing all the tools that it has to offer, respect it, be thankful for the blessings it provides, and it will provide for you, you know
yeah,
and that's what I want to tell everybody that are listening, that don't just look at nature from people's pictures or videos. Go and be there, like Andrew was saying, experience it,
yeah. Feel the energy.
feel the energy,
In a
gain it.
podcast, I mentioned that being on top of a mountain. To me, my teacher told me this word, and we had to study it in school for massage, but it's called beingness, and that's basically just the state of being.
Yeah,
And that's what it's like being on top of a mountain, or seeing the Grand Canyon, or being at that concert like Woodstock, or
yeah,
those type of places. You just gotta be there. That's where that comes from.
right. And we got to experience life. um I mean, we're very lucky to be alive. I mean, it's a blessing, and in itself, to exist. And we can't just exist. You're not here just to drink water and eat.
Mhm.
You're not a
Yeah.
freaking
Yeah.
gerbil in a cage. Like, we have to live and experience and learn. I'm not saying I know everything, because there's a lot for me to still learn, but I'll tell you, like, we got to explore, we got to discover, we got to invent, and we're not just here like a fish in a fishbowl. You know,
Yeah, and we're using our primal skills when we go out there. That, like Andrew said, that brings us back to maybe our past life, if you believe in that, or
hmm
uh, it just brings us back to like maybe what we
just
were
our
came here to
ancestors
do.
and how we
Yeah,
where we evolved from.
yeah, and
So
yeah,
and I think it's important too. I would encourage everybody, whether you live in a condo or whether you live in a house, bring nature to you by growing a garden and connecting with the soil, seeing your seed that you planted grow, and then sow from it and eat from it and be thankful from it. I got chickens now, and they're
mm,
so cool.
cool.
And I have my garden, and it's like we eat from it, and it's like, if you're not really much of an outdoorsy person, bring nature to your house and bring it to you.
Yeah, and you know what I heard one time, as we're wrapping up. You know what I heard? Uh, Basically, if you take a seed before you plant it and you germinate it in your mouth, you put it in your mouth
Hmm.
and let it sit there for a little bit. I don't know the exact details. You can look it up, but uh, it basically it gives you things you need in your body. So it reads your DNA
Oh,
and then
wow.
it spits it out. Just like when a woman has a baby, the nipple does the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. If
It's-
if the mother is scared that the baby's getting sick, the mother will actually create like an immune defense, to
Mhm.
like an immunity booster, and it will go into the breast milk, and it will be provided to the baby so that the baby is
and
protected.
and yeah, it's basically the signal from the nipple in their mouth.
So cool.
It's it's so cool.
Yeah.
Um, well, man, Najib, this was a great chat with you. I
Yeah.
thank you so much. I'd
yeah,
love to have you back.
so we didn't even get like I think we only just started to scratch the surface.
I
Really,
know. Yeah, there's a lot to it, but I had a great time, guys. It was awesome, but like you said, Andrew, it literally just barely scratched the
yeah.
surface.
So
Yeah.
we definitely revisit this topic again in the future, and include some other things, because like next show we're gonna be doing, we have our friend on, Leslie. We're gonna be talking about sustainability, and that it's basically one of the best segues ever, and
That's
from
awesome.
episode to episode is going from that to sustainability because it's almost linked.
It's all connected, and I'm glad that you guys made me a part of what you're doing. I think what you're doing is great, and I really applaud you guys and praise you guys and for what you're doing. Educating people is, I mean, I used to be a teacher, and it's one of the best things that you could do for humanity. And what you guys are doing is you're basically educating people through people's stories. And I've listened to your podcasts, and they're amazing. And I'm glad that I got to be a part of your guys' journey, and I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to sharing more things with you guys. And even if you guys just want to hit me up and chat, I'm down. And let's go for a hike, man. We're about due for one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, yeah, Najib, it's definitely an honor, and I think it's mutual with both Andrew and I that thank you so much for coming on. And I think you gave people a lot to grasp when they're trying to tackle the Colorado Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
One time I was working out, and I asked this guy, he was a jacked guy, basically a WWE wrestler.
That's cool.
And I asked him if he wanted to come hiking with me. And this guy told me, no, there's bears out there. And man, I just looked at him and thought he could grab me by my neck and do whatever he wants to me. But he's afraid of the bears.
You're right.
So,
I'm pretty sure the bears would be more afraid of that guy. Dude.
I know. He's just bigger than a bear.
I hear him coming through. Even Sasquatches and aliens would run.
Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to him. I'm not going to call him out, but shout out to him if he ever hears this. And
that's cool.
Everybody needs to get out there and take a trip in the mountains.
Yeah, and enjoy it. The mountains are open 24/7. Just make sure that you know what you're doing and you're well prepared, and you let people know where you're going, because there's people that love you and care about you. And if you're going through a dark time in your life, just remember that it's just a phase, or it's just a part of your journey. Sorry, not a phase. It's just a part of your life journey, and you'll get to the top of the mountain and you'll be free.
Oh,
so
well said, man.
Yep.
Yes.
So at the end, so I think the overall message here is, if you're not feeling your best, or if you need to grow, take a hike.
Yeah, there you go.
Take a hike.
The mountains are your medicine.
The mountains are our medicine.
And hiking, taking a hike. So that'll be a mantra for the next week or so. Take a hike.
The best thing about this, the mountains being our medicine, is yes, it's addicting, but it's healthy for you. And it's
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So everybody take a hike, enjoy it, love it, live it. And guys, thanks again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you both. Love you guys so much. Love you all out there.
Thank you, bro.
Stay well, stay happy, stay free.